It's amazing how you think you actually had enough information about a condition or a sickness, leave alone a disability, until you get a sitting with someone who has that condition with them, and you are lost between their positive personality and the fact that they are positively living with that sickness. Hello everyone and happy 2021. We are having a conversation with Susan Metta, who positively is living with HIV and is here to tell us her journey and just how wrong we are when it comes to HIV and AIDS. Would you say living with HIV is actually living with a disability? The reason I ask this is many people mistake a sickness or a condition with a disability. So would you say having HIV in your body actually makes you have a disability or not? Because society needs to be made aware. They are very misinformed on that.
So to your question, you asked about if HIV is a disability or it's a condition. There's a lot of misconception about HIV. People tend to think it's a disability. It's actually not a disability. It's a condition whereby the virus lives in the body, which is a host. You know, like I'm the host of the virus. It doesn't define me, I define it. The reason I'm saying it's a condition because it's a manageable virus whereby you can take your drugs and it's suppressed and you can live a normal life, you can date, you can work. Like it doesn't hinder you from anything because it's not written on your face. So nobody actually knows that you have it. Not unless at a point whereby you've neglected yourself and you're sickly, you've reached a full-blown AIDS level. But it's not a disability is whereby something is hindering you from, let's say, working, from doing a particular kind of a thing. Like you're very in full, you can work, you can meet, you can do everything. So I think there's a lot of misconception. But again, before people tend to think it's a disability. It's a disability because as a person, when you turn positive, like most people, because of stigma and fear that there's that notion that HIV/AIDS kills, because of that thing, they tend to lose a lot of weight, they become sickly and they're in fear. So, that person looks so sickly and everything, and everybody is shunning you, shunning away from you. So I think that's why they tend to think it's a disability, where actually it's not. And that's why I keep on telling people, you are what you attract. If you're miserable, you attract misery. There's one time I went to Kenyatta. I took someone to there's a CCC facility. Like in Kenyatta, they have put aside a place whereby HIV patients go to get their medication and for the clinics and everything. So I took someone there. I was already positive, but I was still on my journey to acceptance. So I saw this sickly person who had been discharged from the clinic, the wards at Kenyatta, and he was being enrolled to the clinic and medication. And he looked very sickly, and I'll be honest, I was scared. So I think, so that we remove this notion of it's a disability, if that person could have accepted themselves from the word and taken the medication and a good diet and a positive mindset, they wouldn't have reached that point. So I think it's just the misconception, and a lot of sensitization needs to be done out there. People need to know it is just a condition. It is you, the person living with HIV. You are self-acceptance. Acceptance is key. If you're in denial, there's no way even you'll go back to your normal weight. There's no way you'll go back to your normal self. So accept yourself. Stop that idea of I'll die. There's something else that people don't know. There's a difference between HIV and AIDS. So right now, I'm having HIV. I don't have AIDS. HIV is the last stage. AIDS is the last stage of HIV, whereby you've we talk about CD4 and viral load. Like for example, right now my viral load is at 0. It's suppressed to 0. When it's not suppressed, it multiplies. From 5,000 huko kuendelea, it says you're on full-blown AIDS. Same as CD4. CD4 puts it well. CD4 below 200. You're on full-blown AIDS. What does that mean? What it means, you've neglected or you didn't know about your status. So by the time you're testing, other opportunistic infections are the ones who have put you to that category of AIDS. and that's what actually is going to kill you if you don't take your medication.
Looking back, would you say your life has changed? And if yes, to what level? In what negative and positive way? And that I would also like you to mention in terms of friends. Have you gained friends? Have you lost friends? Have you had a chance to learn fake friends? And so on.
Has HIV changed my life from what I was before to what I'm right now? A lot has changed on the negative side and on the positive side. First, I keep on telling people I had a good job in South Sudan actually. I'm a hotelier by profession. So, you know, like you earning your independence, so you partying and everything, you know. So I think I was too proud about life, and I was self-centered, sorry to say. And so by then I never bothered about other things in this life. I never got to get to know the meaning of a second lease of life that I know right now. So when I turned positive, I realized God gave me a second chance and restored me. And he had a reason to restore me so that I can do something positive in my life. So let's talk about what I lost and what I gained. What I gained is I learned to, you know, like I went back and had a meeting with myself, and I was like, Susan, what can you do better than before? What is the positive that you can do, something that you can do in your life, a legacy that you can leave? Which is like now I'm an activist, I care about people, you know, humanitarian work. And then there's this thing of I lost a lot of friends. I lost from my hairdresser. So I went and told her, you know, she's my close friend. So I'm like, you know what? It's ABC.
Right.
2 days after, somebody called me from my area. Is it true? Is it? I got calls like, and I was so scared. So I realized I need first to free myself. So I told the world, like, I'm like this. When I went out, I lost so many friends wa kitambo, very few remained, just because I think of the stigma it's associated, and the problem is associated to sex. Like you're promiscuous, that's the only way you can get it. So everybody's shunning you away from it. And I've made a lot of friends. They're like, I'm encouraged by, you know, what you're doing, let's be friends. Relationship wise, like it's hard to date, because before, you know, somebody could just approach you and, you know, go and test and you're good and you move on with life. Or if you're using protection, that's how people roll. But you see now, first I need to own my truth. There's no way you're going to approach me and you're serious and I'm not telling you what I am. You know, I'm like, if you want to be serious with me, I am HIV positive. They run like nobody's. 90% will run away. I don't blame them. We are human beings. It's because a lot of sensitization hasn't been done. So you'll find guys will run away. Like 10% will come back. They'll be like, thank you for saving my life, as if they're going to die. You know, so they come back. They become your friends. Now you start, you know, telling them it's like this is how it is, until they learn and they'll be like, wow. So I've met also friends, men who were actually trying to vibe me up, and then they ended up being friends. I've lost relationships because somebody, the moment you tell them you're positive, they run away, which is okay. So there's always the positivity and the negativity about it, because I always say this: there's a reason and a season for everything. There's a reason some people are in your life for that season, you know. So I don't take it the wrong way. It happens. Stigma is there. It will always be there until we fight it. So you lose people, you lose friends. There are even jobs you can go and they have to test, and it's mandatory, and so you shouldn't feel bad about it. I tell people, have a positive mind in life. Like it could happen, it could not happen. Don't be too, you know, hopeful about things. They have to work the way you think they should work. If somebody cannot like accept your status, there's somebody else out there who will come and accept who you are. It's all about patience. It's all about self-love. Pity party should not be in your vocabulary. That is one problem that people have. Pity party. You lose friends, you're like, oh, because I'm positive. You lose a relationship, or amenikata. There are people outside there who will just accept. Even those friends who accept you, that's more than enough. So for me, it never affected me. Yes, I've lost friends, I've lost everything, but the good thing about it is it changed my life for the good. I've learned to look at life from a different perspective, to appreciate people in my life, to appreciate humanity, and that's what counts. The rest is irrelevant.
Susan will be back to tell us about a thing or two on what people don't know or think they do know about the life of those living with HIV and AIDS.
society to know about HIV?
There's a notion that when you're positive, you're supposed to be very sickly, worn out. It's supposed to show on your lips. Sijui your eyes are supposed to be clear. That is just crap, honestly. We are so many. Ask yourself this: we have so many HIV clinics, NGO, private, public hospitals. Every day, they have patients. How many people are living with HIV? Almost half of the world. But you don't know because most of them don't say it, but they live a normal, healthy life. So the notion like we are supposed to be sick, it's a lie. We are very healthy. Sorry to say, we're even healthy more than most of the negative people. So it's only in the mind. HIV does not kill. HIV does not make you look like you're dying the next second. Nobody is dying. We are living for long. Because as long as the virus is suppressed, it's, when your viral load is at 0, you can actually not infect somebody else. That's what people don't know. You know that it's like, it works like this. For example, uko na pipe ya maji. Ukiweka kijiti kama vile tulikuwa tunafanya ushago, unakunja hiyo pipe, sio maji ina nyamaza. Ukifungua it comes. That's what we do to the virus. The way you take your medication daily, you suppress it to 0. When you adhere diligently, it's at constant at 0. So sasa virus haiko, iko kwa mwili, but it's dormant. So you cannot actually infect other people. But people don't know about that. Number 2, there's something that we have that's called PrEP and PEP. Pre-exposure and post-exposure. Those 2 things, in case you're raped or something, or you've slept with someone and you're not sure about their status, run to a facility, get a PEP, post-exposure. So that one, you'll take for 28 to 30 days. It prevents you from getting infected. Then there's pre-exposure, before. That one you're supposed to take 7 days before you start sleeping with that person who's HIV positive. Sasa hiyo sana that one is used by discordant couples while they are not sure if they can sleep. Like that person is 100%, you know. So it protects you from, it's already guarding your system. So by the time you're engaging that person who has the virus, there will never be any transmission of the virus. There's a notion that there was a HIV ni kubwa sana, naogopa nikukunywa ni mingi. It's a lie. There's first line regimen, there's second line regimen, and there's third line. This regimen, there's so many medication in different forms. Like I was telling you, there's TLD, TLE, and what have you, first line. When you refuse to take your medication diligently and you default, your virus comes up again. So the medication that you're using on first line, it will fail. You're taken on second line. If you default, you're taken on third line. By the time you're taken on third line, you have to buy it. It's very expensive. Chances are it will never work. So you might die. So what people need to understand, even people who are living with HIV, is that kindly adhere to your medication. The moment you fail, that's the end. And it's like I take 1 tablet in a day. That is the ARVs. There are people who are still taking Septrins. Septrin is a very strong antibiotic that protects you from many infections. But mostly when your immune system is boosted and your viral load is at 0, you're told it's not a must. So for those who are taking Septrin and ARVs, it's only 2 medication. Can I shock you, inaka kama Panadol ama headaches? Yes. Hizo notion ya ni kitu kubwa. Ni kitu hata mtu hatajua ni nini unakunywa. Not unless umebeba na hiyo chupa yake.
That is labeled.
Yes, that is labeled. Kama unatoa from those 2 small packs you buy from the pharmacy, nobody will ever know. So you take them in the morning or in the evening, and that's it. You eat well, you're good to go. So it's actually ni kama, I tell people, mtu HBP takes medication daily. Diabetes, they take medication daily. What is the difference? We are just normal. It's just people with hormonal imbalance. They're taking their medication. It's still the same way. There's no difference. So imagine there's a lot that people don't know. It's such a normal thing. If I was to walk with you and I've not told you I'm positive, you'd never know. So let's learn from the fact that there's no big deal about HIV. We need to be concentrating about diabetes and high blood pressure. HIV is something that we can handle and accept and move on. So I think that's all I can say for now. HIV is just a condition, it's not a disability. HIV is just a virus. You are the host to the virus. You determine whether the virus puts you down or you put the virus down. And then let's not relate the two, HIV and AIDS. When you're telling someone akona AIDS, you need to understand there's a difference between HIV and there's a difference between AIDS. AIDS is when you're at the last point, you have opportunistic infections. That's when you have AIDS. But we are living with HIV. We are living with the virus. That does not determine who we are. We live like kings and queens, and we live a normal life. Okay, I have a YouTube channel. It's Susan Wairimu Metta. Facebook is Wairimu Nyar Assemble Metta. Don't ask me why all those names. And then my email address is metasusan@gmail.com. My number is 0722 250-644. I would like you, if you're living positively and you feel like it's over, it's not yet over, you can just reach out to me and I'll be of help. Thank you so much.